Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who has decided to watch this video. Today I'm going to be continuing my little look through of all my Transformers Prime toys. And of course we go back to Beast Hunters with my deluxe figures, all three of them. And I really like these toys. I got RC, Soundwave, and Ratchet. They were the only ones I was ever able to get at the time, and maybe one day I'll get some more, because I've always had a little part of me that's been tempted to get all of the unique Beast Hunters didn't appear in the show stuff, because they just have a very nice flair to them. And for the heck of it, let's start with RC, because I kind of consider her my first one, even though I got her and Soundwave at the exact same time. But yeah. And of course she is a motorcycle like she is in Transformers Prime, but she's been flared out and made to look very dragon-like. And I've always found it interesting that they made her specifically have this huge dragon motif, given the fact that the beasts they were hunting in Beast Hunters were also dragon-like. And like nobody else is dragon-y. Like I wouldn't really call Ratchet a dragon. A lot of people compare Ratchet more to dinosaurs, and specifically Dinobot from Beast Wars, especially because of the way his robot mode looks and how his weapon works. And like Bumblebee is just a barbarian, and Wheeljack is kind of eagle-like. But RC, they went full dragon with her, and it's a very interesting take, and she has the traditional Transformers Prime blues and silvers, but they added this nice light purple color, and I really, really like it. I think this is a superior version of Prime RC, without question. I really find it very striking. And before we go to her alternate mode, we need to show off her hunting feature, which is, of course, her little double bow, which is an accessory I always found interesting to be giving her, given RC has a huge connection to Hot Rod, at least in the G1 continuity. Later continuities don't really let them be friends for some reason. And in the previous series, Transformers Animated, Hot Rod used a double bow, and the cool thing about this weapon is that it can combine with her motorcycle mode in a very fun way. Why is it suddenly not working today? I've never had it be like this before. Hang on. We'll pull the whole wheel out. Get the clip in there. No. There we go. And put the wheel back in. And you can have this amazing missile bike, which is very cool. And you can do whatever you want with the arms of the arrowhead. You can fold them back, fold them out. I like, for motorcycle mode, to have them just wrap around the sides of the bike. I think that looks the best. And to me, that feels the most right. And we'll just scoot her to the side for a second. And we got Ratchet being a very souped-up, spiky Mad Maxian ambulance. And he's got his silly little drill thing that doesn't always work for some reason when you press the button. It's supposed to spin, and it's got a turbine on the top of it for some reason. I've never understood that, but it's interesting. I've always wondered if this is supposed to be an alternative weapon, the blue spike on the back, or if it really is just the internals of the machine he's already holding. He's got a hot rodded engine. It's a very interesting ambulance, to say the least. And it's one of the most shocking takes in the whole line for me. I'm glad they included Ratchet. I'm glad they did him in this style, but he's the one where I'm not 100% sure what they're even trying to go for with him. He's also got these big crazy thrusters in the back, and that's amazing. I love that. Turbo ambulance just zooming around, saving the day. Ratchet, I feel like Transformers Prime was always talking about how useless Ratchet is. He can't do anything in a fight. So I am glad that they gave us this bulked up, geared up version of Ratchet that looks like he can do some serious damage to the Decepticons. And speaking of Decepticons, oh, whoa, hey Ratchet, no, we're not leaving. We're not opening the door. We, of course, have Soundwave, who I feel like is one of the most controversial figures in the Beast Hunters line, and I don't really get why. I guess it's like, making him all bird-like ruins the sleekness of Prime Soundwave, and how the fact that he's the only Transformer that's ever gotten to turn into one of these modern-day spy drones, but I don't know, I think it's pretty good. I really like it a lot. I feel these colors make him feel more Soundwavy while still being a unique update of the character. And I don't know, I think it works pretty well. And we'll have to take off this piece early, so we'll ignore what that is until we're in robot mode. Don't look at it, because we have to pull out his very hair trigger accessory, because that plugs into the same spot. And he comes with the very silly inclusion of a capture claw, which is something you don't really see in Transformers. In fact, I think this might be the first time Transformers ever did it. I think the Starscream in Beast Hunters might also have something like this, but his is like a staff that like reaches out, whereas this is the traditional gun with a hook on it. And honestly, it's goofy, but I really like the idea, because it's like you just shoot it out and you have it clamp onto your Autobots. Come here, RC. You have it clamp onto your Autobots and then have Soundwave just fly them away. Just drag them around. And very ridiculous, very silly, but you know what? I love it. I wish we could get this in modern day Transformers, because this is fun as heck, just flailing them around like this. And I think it's a very fun idea, and I'm glad they included it. But enough with talking about the vehicle modes. We got to show them in their robot modes and see how those turned out with their new hunterification. Whoosh! So let's put the boys back here, and let's do ladies first with RC. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet about the Beast Hunters figures that was pretty common throughout at least the deluxe class figures was this nice metallic swirly plastic that they used. And with RC it can be seen with the lighter blue on her chest. There isn't that much swirling on mine, but she does have it here on the inside of her thighs, you can see. And there's actually some of it going on here with the purple there, and her legs and seat from her motorcycle. And, you know, it makes every figure unique, and it makes them stand out. Like, these are very beautiful figures. It's really upsetting that there isn't really any fiction for them. Like, there's kind of the Transformers Go show, but I don't think the Autobots or Decepticons really show up in that. Like, I know the dragons do, like the Predacons, but I don't believe they're called Predacons in that show. But I'm pretty sure the Autobots and Decepticons just kind of stay in the background and let the new Combiner guys deal with it. But anyway, we have RC, and it's very much a more armored up Prime RC. Look at her head, where she's got like the extra spikes coming off the side. The only pink on the figure is here on her head crest, and I mean, the first version of this RC mold had no pink, so more show accurate, technically. She's got a huge chin guard Like, she's Darkseid from DC Comics. She's got... I think she's got extra armor around her waist, or maybe not. Maybe it's just painted in a way that makes it feel more armored up. That might actually be the same sculpt as on the old release. And of course, she's got more armored up feet and stuff, and you can see more of the dragon parts from her vehicle mode. And we gotta bring in her bow again, because there are multiple ways for her to hold this behemoth, because it's got 2 of the traditional 5mm pegs, and they are on hinges, so you can have her wield it with both hands and use it as some kind of crazy double-barreled cannon thing. And she could also just hold it like a regular bow when you fold them inward, which is my preferred way to do it, but in her hand it's not always the most secured, especially because, like a lot of female Transformers, although not all, and this is actually becoming less of a thing, it's not completely secured because her hand is open instead of being a full cylinder, although actually it's getting in there pretty tight right now and I don't want to force it, but I am going to have to pull it out because there is a... we'll pick up that missile later. There we go. See, it can just slide out like that. There is actually another way, which is she has these ports on the bottoms of her arms, so we can slot one in like that, put her full arm inside the part that goes over her wheel in vehicle mode, wrap the other peg around her arm, and boom, she has it on and really secured. And let me quickly go grab that missile. And now she can just have it properly displayed on her. And again, you can do whatever you want with the arms of the bow, however much you want to position them. And I think this is an awesome version of RC. And one more thing that I have been not saying about this mold yet, because I don't 100% know how to convey it, but like something about the new colors, like the lighter blue and the purples, makes her feel more consistent with RC. For me, I don't completely know why, because like normal Prime RC barely resonates as RC in any way. And I mean, she doesn't have to. I'm one of those Transformers fans where it's like, I am fine with a character being completely reimagined from the ground up to the point where they might only be similar in name only, because sometimes we're only using those names to secure the trademarks. But like, this was not sold, like this character was sold as RC, this is our RC, but like Prime really wanted to appeal to nostalgia, so there was clearly some attempt, some belief that she was true to G1RC, and she really isn't. But like this feels more like I can look at this one and feel like she has the spirit of G1RC, whereas normal Prime RC didn't. Like how I know people when I was a kid who, when Prime came out, didn't even realize Prime RC was RC. They thought she was a new character, or the ones that knew Transformers, like yeah, I did, thought she was Chromia because of the blue. But this screams RC to me in a way. The default Prime design doesn't, but I don't know. No, I just like this figure more on that one. And we will now put the lady to rest and let the good doctor come in. And whoo boy, Ratchet, you're looking crazy. And this is where the Dinobot 2 influences really start coming in. Honestly, he's kind of a halfway between Dinobot and Dinobot 2, and it's so interesting. Like, let's look at this head. Look at this. Wow. So insane. He's got the little horns and the monocle and like the whatever that is wrapped around his face. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks mean. Oh, and he's also supposed to have some loaded head gimmick for his transformation. I don't think it's ever really worked on my copy, but and I love like the orange and tans wrapped around his body. It's just so interesting, so organic, very fleshy in a way a Transformer never really looks. Like it's got a lot of feelings of like the Mutant, which is like an old movie monster. For people who don't know, there's actually a Ninja Turtles figure of it, because Ninja Turtles did that line of the turtles dressed as classic movie monsters, and they did one of Raphael as the Mutant, one of the coolest looking ones too, so that might help. And I love the detailing here. It makes it look like he still has his scalpel swords just permanently attached this time instead of being individual accessories. And of course he still has his spring drilly thing, but because this figure is clearly an homage to Dinobot in some way, just like Dinobot, it can open up to be a gun. Now it's a GAT, and it has a much harder time spinning when opened up for some reason. I've admittedly never understood this. There we go. Actually, I usually fold it like this because it seems to sometimes hit the blade, which wouldn't be a problem if I had him holding it in his hand, but I like it as an arm-mounted weapon. Even if it, for some reason, can't always spin when being done sideways like this. I like it. It's probably the most basic of all the gimmicks they added for these Hunter figures, but it's fun, it's neat, and it's an homage to a classic figure from Transformers, and that's pretty cool to see, that the Beast Hunters homaging their Beast Wars ancestors. Very fun. Very nice to see they would include something like that. And now, once again, to wrap things up, we gotta talk about our Decepticon boy, Soundwave. And look at this. Oh man, this gives him so much more personality, and it really connects him back to his Soundwave roots. You can actually tell this is a Soundwave, unlike the last Prime design where it's like, who is that? There we go. And one thing I really love about this guy, other than his colors, is the thing we ignored previously, which is normally in Transformers reboots, Soundwave is only given one of his cassettes, and it's always Laserbeak because Laserbeak's the most iconic. But this time, they have remolded him to no longer have Laserbeak, and instead, he includes my favorite of his minions, Ravage, and this is really nice. This really made me hope Ravage was going to show up in the series at some point, and he didn't. It's a really small Ravage, obviously not the smallest Ravage, because, oh boy, we all know what the smallest Ravage is, and that's a pretty infamous toy, but he's a cute little Ravage, and I'm really glad to see him included. And of course, he still has the grapple claw. Can't really fire it at the enemies right now because I have the string wound around its storage area. But he can mount on his arm as a cannon. See, there it is shooting. And now the string is getting unwound. But we'll leave it like that. And get our figures together in a little... Soundwave. Get our figures together in a little group shot to end things off. Pull our Autobots forward. Up, Soundwave. Come on, man, I'm trying to defend your honor. And you do this to me. But there we go. This is just my quick little look back at the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters figures. I would argue maybe the greatest part of Transformers Prime, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on them with the world for no particular reason. So, thanks for watching, and see you guys around.
Greetings, human germs. It is I, Skywarp. Lord Megatron demands that you subscribe to this channel. If you do, then you may be spared from the Decepticon conquest of Earth. You would be wise to do as he says.